Make no mistake, this is a planned Islamic army of 30,000 army of Islamic illegals designed to take over Europe. They're funded by Turkey, Qatar, and the Muslim Brotherhood. This is an army designed to wipe out white people from Europe. Spain, their stupid woke government. Spain is in the worst situation. Spain is the most retarded government of all. They have legalized 500,000 illegals. So not only are they not fighting it, they've legalized 500,000 illegals. This is it. This is almost game over for Europe. 250,000 women, white women in the UK have already been raped. What's going to happen to Spain? What's going to happen to Spanish women? What happens when those illegals go into Europe? Germany is falling. Britain is on its way to become the first Islamic nuclear country apart from Pakistan. What the fuck is Pakistan doing with nuclear weapons? Asians, you must stick up for white people right now. Asian countries must accept white refugees. We have to pay back debt to white people. We must stick up for the West. The West saved China and Korea. We'd be speaking Japanese if not for the West in World War II. It's time for Asians to stick up for white people. They are being invaded right now. And it is a plan. It is a Muslim Islamic plan. The Islamic army is not weaponizing bullets and bombs. They're weaponizing people and birth rates, wombs and ovaries. And believe me, they're taking over the populations of Europe. Asians must start coming up with a plan to start taking refugees from the West. I genuinely fear for the future of white people.
This shit's fucking crazy. I mean, 1,500 to 2,000, I think, in one day. Yo. So mostly Moroccans and Algerians went over to I forget what the town is called. It's this little part of Spain, and they started looting and trashing stores. Like, it's all intentional. These globalists that want to like get rid of the idea of having states and countries and ethnicities. That is going to fail miserably. Try to take away the tribalism from human beings is like trying to take a fish out of water. Ain't going to work. Ladies and gents, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments. Follow me, Rafi the Realtor, for all of your South Florida real estate needs. And you can donate to the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Let's get into it.
Britain coming up to 20 to 3. Now some breaking news and pictures to bring you from Faro TV.
Yes, thousands of migrants here are storming Spanish territory. These are dramatic videos showing large crowds of mostly men by the looks of things, overwhelming border guards in the enclave of Ceuta in northern Africa.
Well, that's one of two Spanish enclaves in northern Africa that, of course, are part of Spanish sovereign territory. And the idea of these migrants breaking into this part of Spanish sovereign territory, of course, is that then they will be able to make it to the mainland, where, of course, a significant amnesty programme is underway.
Yeah, this is the only land border between the European Union and Africa. So, as you can see, huge numbers of people just sort of breaking through. But Spain has had an interesting policy towards illegal migration. They've sort of decided that they're just going to approve people, haven't they?
Hundreds of thousands.
So it's hardly surprising that so many people are storming through the border there.
We're looking at images now on screen, aren't we, of those images there from the Spanish territory, Dean Morgan. These are migrants who, we understand, some have swum across into this Spanish territory, others are running down the beaches. What do you make of that? And is there a chance they might be able to get to the UK, I suppose, through small boat crossings? I mean, because they can't cross legally, I suppose.
Well, no, because they would have to go to the British High Commission or Embassy, submit an online application and pay a fortune, to enter the UK legally. So, I mean, obviously, if they're breaking into Spanish territory, it kind of suggests what would happen next. I mean, obviously, this situation is only getting worse over the last few decades. And you raise a really good point about the European Human Rights Convention. I mean, if we go back in history, Tony Blair enshrined that, if I'm not mistaken, into British law. And we were the only EU member state that had actually done that. Now, his wife was one of the most preeminent human rights lawyers at the time, and I'm not suggesting any impropriety. Having said that, obviously she benefited greatly from it. So why are we still, part of these legal framework? When we had Brexit, the British people were told that all of this would come to an end and we would have jurisdiction over our own laws and our own territory. So why can't Parliament change the law? Why can't the Lords ratify that? We're not part of Europe anymore. Sorry, I don't understand what legally is stopping us from doing whatever's necessary.
But the point is, we do have power over laws. It's up to Parliament to repeal laws which give power to judges to stop the migrants being deported. Again, all the powers are in the hands of our elected leaders. That's what Brexit was about. But is there will there, within Labour, the Tories, or Reform, or whichever party, Lib Dems, to deal with this crisis once and for all?
Well, look, actions speak louder than words. And, we have the same situation with the border now that we've had forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, unless we see action, we have to assume that, those that are in power have no issue with what you're reporting on daily.
Yeah. Well, Dean Morgan, the Director of First Migration, thank you for joining us discussing those troubling scenes, I think, from Spain. And, of course, sad news overnight with deaths in the Channel and more illegal migrants crossing. Thank you for joining us today. Migrant crisis, or watch it continue killing our country. Speaking to GB News last night in the Oval Office, the President described the surge into Europe as an invasion and gave this message to Andy Burnham.
You've had a couple of weeks to get to know our new Prime Minister. Have you spoken to him much? And do you think he is the man to lead us to excellency?
Well, he did say one very good thing. He said he's going to open up North Sea oil. If he does that, you're going to be a wealthy country. If he does it reasonably. They have two problems. They have a huge immigration problem. People coming from all over the world and just camping out in your country. He's going to have to mention it because it's killing your country. And they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from South America. They're coming from different parts of Asia. And they're invading Europe. I mean, they're invading Europe. It's an invasion. And the UK is a prime suspect.
OK, that's what Donald J. Trump said last night. Here's what our Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, said in reply.
When it comes to the wider issues around the Channel and immigration, obviously there are crossings this week, but overall, if you look at the picture in 2026 compared to last year, 2025, there is significant progress in terms of reducing the number of crossings, the number of people coming over. But there is much further to be done to get the grip on the issue that we require. The Home Secretary is applying that grip, and I'm grateful to her, but more is needed to get those numbers right down. The removals are up too, though, and this is another part of the story that people need to understand. There is progress being made on all fronts, but more is needed.
More is needed to get the numbers down. What does he mean? We might find out in future weeks. Anyway, elsewhere, extraordinary footage has emerged showing huge numbers of migrants sprinting up beaches, swimming ashore and dispersing into the streets of a small Spanish territory called Ceuta. Could they be coming to the UK next? That's the question. We can now speak with political commentator Andy Williams. And Andy, we're looking on screen at the images there from the Spanish territory called Ceuta, which is off the coast of, you see it there on the map there, southern Spain. What do you make of that? I mean, that's obviously a bad look for the European Union because that is a European Union border. Is it an issue for the UK too?
Well, look, maybe at the margins, but I think, again, we have to be honest with people. The reality is that unless you want to put enormous fences and people with machine guns on every border, everywhere in the world, which is, I think, neither desirable nor feasible, you will get people crossing illegally from one country into the other, especially where there's a land border. Now, the UK is, of course, different. We don't have a land border, apart from, obviously, on the island of Ireland, but the vast majority of the United Kingdom doesn't have a land border with any other country. We are surrounded by water. It's different. Therefore, we have our own unique challenges. But I don't think it's feasible that you're going to stop people crossing from one country into another where you have a land border. That's never going to be stopped. That's happened throughout human history. It always has. It always will. And there's nothing, by the way, that we're seeing in these pictures. I'm not saying I'm delighted by it. I'm not condoning it. But there's nothing that we're seeing here that should alarm anybody. None of these people are, I mean, I can't get too excited about this. I think there are far bigger problems in the world than some people, particularly if you live in Britain, than some people crossing from Morocco into a Spanish territory.
OK. Andy Williams there, the political commentator. Thank you for joining us today on GB News.
Okay, so the guy at the end is a fucking idiot. I don't see anything wrong with people that are not from the country. You don't know who they are, idiot. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they come from, what their beliefs are. Their beliefs very likely do not agree with yours, but you can have them. It's not like Moroccans are inherently bad people, but a lot of the time the ones that are trying to get into a country illegally are not the best. A lot of the good ones stay in the country that they live in. Okay? Now, again, that's not always the case. There are a lot of the time you have brain drain, which is the economic term for smarter people. If they don't see opportunity in their country, they'll go to a country with a better opportunity. But, it's not an issue. It's a major issue. Anyway, and yes, if you have to shoot people trying to get into your border, that's what you do. Anywho, leave your comments. Would like to hear your feedback on this crazy shit going on. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on the gram for all of your real estate needs in the Miami and greater South Florida area. And you can donate and support my channel and my work by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description or pinned comment. Thanks as always for tuning in. Looking forward to tuning in to the next one. Until next time, Peace.